When you tell someone you're going to overanalyze a European art film, they either roll their eyes or lean in, already half convinced that you're about to find the meaning of the universe in a dissolved or long take. So let's be honest, this video is about overanalyzing on purpose, about the fine line between deep reading and mad lib theory. And if you're worried that European Arthouse is already too serious, too slow, too symbolic, well, that's exactly what we love about it. Today we're asking, when does overanalyzing European arthouse cinema actually make the film richer? And when does it just make us look clever in a dark room? At its core, overanalyzing means extending an idea beyond what's strictly necessary to enjoy or understand a film. In traditional movie school theory, you're taught to look at narrative structure, mise-en-scene, editing rhythm, and the symbolic weight of a gesture or a color. But European arthouse thrives on ambiguity. A shot of a window in Ingmar Bergman or Chantal Akerman can feel like an entire thesis. So the real question isn't, is this too much to analyze? It's, does this interpretation reveal something essential about the film? Or is it just me projecting my own obsession onto it? Think of films like Persona from 1966, directed by Bergman, or Werkmeister Harmonies from 2000, directed by Bellatar. These aren't puzzle boxes we're supposed to solve. These are experiences that invite us to linger, to reread, to cycle around the same images as if it might finally speak. In that sense, European arthouse practically begs for overanalysis. But here's the catch. A director might design a 7-minute track shot for a purely emotional reason, to make you feel the weight of time. Yet we can easily build an entire essay about how it represents post-war alienation, the slow collapse of a nation, or the failure of language. Sometimes that essay is insightful. Other times it's just a very elegant way of saying, I sat with this film for too long. So why do we keep doing it? First, European arthouse often refuses to lecture us. It doesn't handhold you through a moral. Instead, it shows you a woman straight out of a window, a train in the fog, a silent dinner table, and leaves you asking, what does it mean? That emptiness is where analysis lives. And when the film is already slow, sparse, and visually dense, every detail feels like a clue. Second, arthouse cinema is usually made in intentional dialogue with history, politics, and aesthetics. Think about the spirit of the Beehive, watching Frankenstein to process the Spanish Civil War. The white ribbon framing a small German village as a microcosmos of fascism roots. These films are built on layers: personal trauma, national memory, and formal experimentation. So when we overanalyze, we're really trying to pull all those threads into view. But here's the danger. Sometimes, in our rush to find meaning, we end up smothering the film. Let's take a simple example. Imagine a long shot of a woman walking across a field. We could say this is a metaphor for existing loneliness, a critique of rural patriarchy, or a visual echo of some 19th century painting. And all of that might be plausible. But what if the filmmaker just liked the way the light felt in the morning? What if the only intention was to make the walking feel real, almost banal? This is where the line between smart reading and over-intellectualizing grows thin. As one director once said,
the film is the thing. The film is the thing. You work so hard to get, after the ideas come, to get this thing built, all the elements to feel correct, the whole to feel correct, in this beautiful language called cinema. And the second it's finished, people want you to change it back into words. And it's very, very saddening. It's a torture. It's the film. The language is cinema. When things are concrete, very few variations in interpretation. But the more abstract a thing gets, the more varied the interpretations. But people still know inside what it is for them.
so when is overanalyzing actually good? When it does three things. Grounds itself in the film's world. It doesn't project wild ideas that contradict everything else we see. If you're going to argue that a slow shot of a hallway represents social decay, That idea should be supported by the characters, the era, the tone. Makes the film richer, not just smarter. The best Arthouse essay don't just decode, they re-enrich the image. For example, interpreting the communal scene in Werkmeister harmonies, not just as a weird crowd sequence, but as a vision of collective trauma and shared delusion, gives you a new way to feel the film. Leaves space for the audience's own reading. Overanalyzing becomes an over-dogmatic when it insists there's only one correct meaning. The best pieces of criticisms are like good films. They invite you in, but don't lock the door behind you. European arthouse directors often build ambiguity into the films on purpose. Think of Tarkovsky's The Mirror, Haneke's The Piano Teacher, or Visconti's The Leopard. These films don't tidy up their endings or resolve the characters neatly. They let you sit with discomfort, with doubt, with contradictions. And that's exactly why overanalyzing them feels natural. But it's also why we must stay honest. Some scenes are mysterious because life is mysterious, not because there's a secret code we're failing to crack. Some endings are open because closure would be dishonest, not because the film is waiting for us to provide the meaning. So is there a line between a smart interpreter and overanalyzing European arthouse? The answer is yes. When your analysis makes you feel the film more deeply, you're probably on the right side of it. When your analysis makes the film feel smarter or turns it into a checklist of symbols, you're probably on the wrong side. Lastly, overanalyzing European arthouse is a kind of love. It's a sign that these films matter enough to you that you want to live inside them, to move the pieces around, to test them against your own ideas about history, politics, and what it means to be human. If you've ever found yourself staring at a static shot of a window, or a silent exchange between two characters and thought, there's something more here, you're already part of the tradition. In the comments I'd love to hear which European arthouse film do you feel you've overanalyzed, and did it make you love it more or did it push it away? And if you want more deep dives into European arthouse, director essays, national styles and how we might read them without losing the mystery, subscribe and hit the bell. This is the kind of conversation these films deserve.